Welcome back. I'm not going to blabber on. This is part 2 of the Vapor Trails interview.
One of those examples in the studio we were alluding to where, we kind of worked our own hours. Everybody had their own kind of special time they prefer to work. I like to work during the day. I like to get home with the family for dinner kind of thing. Alex likes to play at night. He loves to play his guitar at night, and sometimes when you're writing a lot together, in a way it sounds crazy, but it interferes with playing because you're so busy arranging and thinking about what's the right thing to do. You don't just let it fly sometimes. So sometimes after I would split, he would just have some fun and just play and jam and write. And on this particular occasion, he collected a bunch of these wild guitar ideas, and I came in the next day and listened to them, and I loved them. I just didn't understand them. They were kind of all over the place. And so I kind of said to myself that there's something really excellent here. It's just a matter of finding a context for it. And eventually some lyrics came along that I thought maybe, simpatico with some of this music. So that's when one of the times that Alex wasn't around, I sat down with these guitar riffs and started playing with them, literally playing bass along with them, and then playing with them in the sense of moving them around and shortening them and lengthening them and singing to them and trying to form a song out of it. And I put something together that I thought was kind of fun, but I had no idea whether it was mental or not, or whether it made sense. And then Alex came in and he really liked it, and eventually that's kind of what became the song.
Now there's an example again of having no kind of obstacles between the way we worked. When I did that, I just did it as an exercise. I just felt like playing and having some fun on my own. So I wrote these parts, and Geddy came in and he wrote the song. I didn't really have anything to do with the writing of the song. He assembled the whole thing, the whole arrangement, moved it around, put the lyrics through. I remember coming in and, sitting down and him saying, just a couple hours, just give me a couple hours. And I'd leave and I'd come back in and there was this song, and it was great. And I hardly remembered the parts, because it was very thrown away at the time. But it really made me feel good about the way we were working. It said anything is open to us. Just do whatever you want.
Stay tuned.
Association with HMV.
3 CDs for $33.
The wheel on a Saturday night, you often buy Affection Connection. It's a great way to meet new people.
Host Jeff Woods and special guests Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee.
The first few months were difficult musically, as Alex said. We were not in sync.
Disparate had different ideas about where to go.
No, I don't think it was a matter of different ideas. I think it was a matter of what do we do that we haven't done before? How do we avoid going through the motions? How do we avoid working on automatic pilot? As soon as the 3 people that have been playing together that long start playing, well, you slip into comfortable modes. Yep. And that's really not what Rush is about. At least I hope not. And, so I think we had this horrible fear that we weren't breaking down any new walls. We weren't creating any new energy. We weren't doing anything in a fresh way. And we sort of tortured ourselves for about 3 months. And then eventually, as Alex said, we took this break and we came back and we realized that some of the work we'd been doing was pretty damn good. Some of it was boring and must go away. And we started again in a way with such energy. Yeah. And Alex and I jammed, and my God, we were just having such fruitful jams together.
I know there was one week where a lot of material came out of that that particular week of jamming, where we just played every day for that week from 11 in the morning till like 5:30, 6 o'clock. Take a little short break for lunch. We couldn't wait to get back in there. Couldn't wait to get up in the morning and get to the studio. It was a wonderful feeling to be that enthusiastic and excited about it.
It was I would say about 50% of the album came from that week.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was all three of you in the studio.
No, it was just Alex and I jamming together. And at that point, Neil had decided to take a break and go back out west where he's living in the U.S. And Alex and I came in and we said to him, well, we need to sort some things out. So no sense you sitting here while we're still sorting things out. Yeah. And that's when we just started jamming. And then when he came, I guess it was about 10 days later or something like that, we had all this stuff to play him and all these songs. And it was just it's what you want in a writing session. You know, you want that level of creative energy flying around.
There's the adage, it's not the heat, it's the humidity. And that morphed for some people, and it's not the heat, it's the stupidity. And in Rush terms, it's not the heat, it's the humanity. Ceiling Unlimited. This is a really cool track.
I love that song. There's a great spirit on that tune. And it was one of those songs that came out of the jams that we were talking about. And a lot of that song is, in a sense, live, because a lot of the songs that came out of that one session, there were parts that we just, kept. And even though we said, well, we could probably make this sound better, or we could, play it a different way, and maybe we would make it sound more polished, or this, that, and the other. But at the end, it had a spirit. And, this album is about spirit. It's about the return of spirit, and it's a celebration of spirit. And that song, to me, is so much about that.
With Jeff Woods, along with Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson.
What would you say is the key thing for each of you that makes this a unique album?
Well, this is the first record we've done in a long time without any keyboards. That's put much more responsibility on the guitar parts, and on secondary guitar parts that play the role of what the keyboards would have played. So it's a lot more challenging. It's a lot more rewarding coming into it for me. And again, I think it's very connected to what I've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years at home, just messing around with different textures and ideas.
And for me, I think it's a question of intensity. There's a kind of intensity about this record that I haven't detected in a Rush album in quite some time. And it's not something that I was aware of until we made this record. There are sparks of it in certain songs of the last number of albums, but there's something about the way we felt, and something about the passion that we felt for doing it the right way that comes across on those songs. And there's a real intensity, I think, and that's the difference to me.
Rush, Vapor Trails, the world album premiere, Q104. Now, more of Rush, Vapor Trails, the world album premiere on the Chorus Radio Network, with your host, Jeff Woods.
We must address the issue of lyrics. You've written lyrics for your own record, Geddy, as of late. Neil, typically writing Rush lyrics over the course of your career. Neil solely on this album, or did either of you introduce some of your own words on this record?
Well, my view was